Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very good morning to you all and welcome to the Smashing Cricket out at St George's for the year 2022. First one since 2020 before COVID. Current game we've got on now, Christian Brothers College taking on St John's College. CBC batting first in their traditional yellow and shades of green. Connor Grant, the first one. Not the greatest start for him, but I'm sure he will fix that. Quite an exceptional fast bowler, had a brilliant first term. And to be out on the South African tour, he'll look to get into his strides. First ball wide, but I'm sure he'll fix it. Still struggling a bit, Connor Grant. Unfortunately, just having two looseness is what I'll call it. Really stretching that shoulder, looks like. So currently batting for Christian Brothers College on Munashi Chimusoro, who gets off the mark for Christian Brothers College. Off. Bit of sloppy work there behind the wicket. Allowing to get over for 2 runs to bring their tally to 4. So just a quick note to anyone who is around, and without too much to do this entire weekend, do head out to St George's College. It's finally so good to have this level of cricket back in the country after the long COVID break. And there we go, like I did point out earlier on in the over, don't write him off for too long. Connor Grant just getting that one to slide past the bat. And that is Munashi Chimusoro again, still on strike, with the 2 runs off of his other 2 having come off for wides. And unfortunately still trying to find his stride. Not the best way that he'd have wanted to start his game, but best looks to be swinging out. That's been going forward. Sounds like there was a bit of a touch there, probably on the toe edge of his bat, and that was Munashi Chimusoro. On strike now is Dylan Pettican. It's been quite the long over for Connor Grant. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 balls bowled so far, 2 to go. He'll really want to see the back end of this one. And that's a free hit with 1 ball to go. Well, 2 now in this over. Brilliant ball to ball, just to ensure that you don't leak too many on that free hit. Leg bar is called by the umpire, and that is it. Not the greatest of starts for St John's, conceding rather 7 runs off their first over, predominantly through extras. Connor Grant will have a lot to think about as he goes on to field. Now Daniel Erasmus will certainly want a better over than the first one. St John's quite out on the field at the moment. Just to start. Oof. Just like that, he gets one on his first delivery of his first over. Like I had pointed out earlier, these St John's boys seeming to have quite a bit of speed and swing, some outswing on that ball. And unfortunately for Wade Peterkin, not being able to deal with that one, and he is St John's first victim. Current score lies 8 for 1 after 1.1 overs. 8 of those runs have been conceded in the very long over of Connor Grant. Going to be interesting to see if they'll bring him back for a second over or just hold him back a bit. How Daniel Erasmus getting the work done for St John's to put them back straight into contention. New man known as Vansh Patel, right hand as well. Just a bit of a loosener from Dan Erasmus. Vansh Patel, the new man in, not dealing with Arn adequately, but Dan Erasmus will be quite happy with that, get himself into it. Oof. Just unfortunately for the St John's boys, spraying it a bit, just getting themselves into it. Hopefully they don't concede too much from this, and hopefully later on in the game they won't really their chances with this many extras. And that's beautiful top work. That you can see his run up, not too fast right to it, just builds himself up rather, just to get that power just as he lands, releases the ball from quite a high point in his bowling action, hence generating that hand swing. With 3 balls to go in this over, having conceded 1 run and taken 1 wicket. Oof, just wow, really keeping his end neat. Quite excited are the St John's boys out in the field, as you can definitely see from this point of view. It is moving. Hasn't been expensive one bit. Dan Erasmus looking to cap off his over. Wonder what variations he's got going on. Definitely seen the fast outswingers. Seems to have a different grip on it now, and that's the slower one. Just as I said it, very smart thinking from him. Oh, and that's one beautiful run out. St John's taking 2 wickets in this over. Brilliant throw by Connor Lovett. Top work, just a slow ball working, catching the batsman off guard. And unfortunately that is top work from St John's in the field. Current score lies 9 for the loss of 2 wickets, just inside 2 overs. Didn't look to have gotten to the greatest of starts rather. But tell you what, Dan Erasmus, your man, taking good care of that. A wicket on his first ball. And then just used a slow ball variation, which caught the batsman off guard. Really didn't use it to the best of his abilities. And to kind of love it, he says, thank you very much. You should have probably considered what you'd have done on that ball. Looking for the quick single, which I guess, I don't know if that is the right tactic to use in this game. This tournament so far has been quite low scoring, so they should have been quite happy with where they would have been. 10 runs inside the first 2 overs wouldn't have been bad at all. They're just putting themselves under a little bit of unnecessary pressure. Straight to the man, he runs you out. 1 ball to go in the over. And that's a brilliant over from Dan to really sort out what happened in that first over. Having conceded 8 runs, he concedes just the one and takes 2 wickets. Very brilliant over. Brave call by the captain to back his man, Connor Grant, who we all know what he's made of, to come back in for a second over. Oh, looking a lot more polished. But unfortunately conceding 4 byes. It's quite unfortunate because that was a brilliant ball with some brilliant bounce on it as well. Beg your pardon, just a 4 rather. And there we go, straight into a stride. You could see it's a much better performance thus far. His first 2 balls of this over in comparison to that last over, but really unfortunate to have leaked that 4 early on in the over. Saxon Pettican currently on strike. A low full toss, one would call it, but just still to gain much confidence are the batters out in the yellow. Would be quite happy with the tally at the moment, 13 for 2 after 2.3 and what's been quite low scoring. Would have been on for that maiden, just bringing a bit more life and speech into the St John's field. Oh, and there we go, that slower ball that the St John's boys really look to have mastered. It's worked both times they've used it, and just like we did point out earlier, it's a much more polished over from Connor Grant. His captain's definitely earning the treat for having brought him back after that over. Not too many would have done the same. Managing to sneak in a single from Pettican to end this over, having just conceded, 5 runs. It's a much more polished over, a lot shorter as well. And from the opposite end will be their danger man again, Dan Erasmus, after that first over. Definitely swings it out. And with that much pace we've seen in that last over that he bowled, batsman going forward to it and being foxed by that outswing, and then all of a sudden he's going to bring in that slower one. Ooh. Looking to gain much more bounce off that one. Slow down after hitting the surface. He's hitting this really hard, as we did see in the previous over. And just like that, with the slip in, unfortunately, that's gone down. Dan Erasmus really foxing these batsmen, but unfortunately put down in the slips for him. And St John's putting that down. That's Munashi Chimusura again, who's had his fair share of lies. Second one so far. So that's quite unlucky. Unfortunately, Liam Jones putting that one down. Best believe if one comes to him next ball, he's taking that one. Wide awake he will be now. Immense speed, but quite patient. A patient effort from Section Pelican. He's been in for 8 balls, 6 runs. Just the one he did edge off Connor Grant's second over. Probably still getting his iron, and this will be a brilliant opportunity for St John's, somewhat on top of the opposition. And again, that slow ball variation. Kinda love it. Again, trying to rewrite what happened in the previous over. Clearly one of their gun fielders, so I wouldn't be taking too many singles off of Connor Lovett. I mean, we've seen it right through his cricketing career, right through from St John's prep. Always been exceptional. GB's top speed, that he's absolutely grease lightning through the crease. Munashichi Masoro somewhat leaving that. I thought about it. He was in 2 minds definitely, well, according to his foot movement. One ball to go in this over. And unfortunately, as I said, he's got one to go in this over. Must have jinxed him as he unfortunately balls are wide and has to come back for another. If I was him, the only way I'm looking at it is it's another opportunity to take another wicket. Be quite interesting to see how St John's deal with this sort of first, well, the end of this first spell. Do they carry on with Connor Grant, or maybe bring in brilliantly capped off again with that slow ball that he seems to always go back to bring the tally to 19 for 2 after 4 overs. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you are free or don't have much to do this weekend, please do head out to St George's College for the smashing cricket T20. Got a couple of teams out this weekend. Games being played out on 3 fields. Connor Grant coming back in to the spell for his 3rd over. I guess they'll just be leaving the 1 or and that's a brilliant start coming off the pad, definitely. But that's a brilliant way to start this over. Top shot straight down the ground. Will the fielder get it? Unfortunately not. That's one beautiful shot there. And that is Munashichi Masoro, the man who opened the batting for CBC. Finally getting his iron at the moment. It looks a very strong shot played down the ground. Just went to it. He pretty much just used the pace. And that's one proper cricketing shot. Wonder how Connor Grant will get back to, or what response he'll have. And that's a slower one. You won't be using my pace this time, he says. Jack. Jack. – 'St. John still packing that slip. 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 'St that man at point as well was very much in contention. Really not testing Connor Lovett on this occasion. Yes, there wasn't too much backing up going on the non-striker's end, but straight to the man. Yeah, shown to be an exceptional with that direct hit, and was it the second over? And again, Munashi Chumusoro just really keeping his head above that ball, keeping those eyes above the ball, just putting his bat there, because it definitely is moving. So that slow ball is definitely something St John's are clearly planning or are using quite efficiently, and it has worked really. They can always come back to it, maybe even after those 2 wides or 3 wides like we did see in his first over. I mean, that's one brilliant over, just conceding what? Quite interesting tactics being used here by St John's College, having both their openers use up 3 overs to start off with. Just guiding that one to, what is that, a deep wood back, or point to that point region, is Saxon Pedican. Some top bounce, and he just glances at that one, gets the bat onto it. So that's a risky single. Unfortunately, caught on his heels is the St John's man, allowing the Christian Brothers College guys to take a quick single off that one to bring their tally to 25 for 2. As much as it is low scoring, CBC will, I guess, maybe after this first spell, look to be a bit more attacking. Happy to take the singles at the moment, but that's a risky one. Going at it with one hand, not being able to rotate it. With 1 ball remaining in the over.
Those a little bit wayward. Come back for 2 more St George's. So, end of 10 overs.
Definitely some outswing on that. Didn't go where he intended on playing it. Very quiet out in the field, St John's. Getting a bit loud whenever something exciting is taking place, but in between that, quite quiet. Letting that one go down to end the over. Hopefully a change of tactics, maybe at the end of this first spell, unless they do bring back Connor Grant to end his spell. And at the end of that first power play, a change, like I had mentioned earlier, Liam Jones So Liam Jones bowling some more spinners to bring in the first change for St John's. If I was St John's, I'd really be chuffed with where we currently are in the game, because 26 runs on the board after 6 overs. Before you know it, oof. He's got some good speed on that. Definitely some turn, having foxed Saxon Pelican. That's Liam Jones. Slowing this one down, just being guided down to point, and that man is right there. A very brilliant start here by Liam Jones.
Mohammed Afro's got 24 of 23, his contribution.
Trying to play that backward sort of cut shot. Gets more of an edge than what he would have been expecting, but much credit to him. He gets a 4. So Saxon Pelican really seeming to be the man at the moment for Christian Brothers College. 2 boundaries for him to bring his tally to 13 and the team tally to 30 runs. Liam Jones concedes his first bit of runs. And that's straight to his man.
Comes to the crease, 2 down, St George's.
Parring that one through. Not really looking to attack these bowlers are Christian Brothers College. Take it quite slowly at the moment, because after 7 overs, they currently 31 runs for the loss of 2 wickets. If I'm St John's, I'm pretty chuffed with this at the moment, because especially on the back end of their inning, they still got 2 overs from Connor Grant alongside Dan Erasmus, who has gotten all their wickets up until now. Oof. Taona Zimunga is the new man in for St John's. Right, I'm over. Conceding 1 off his first over. For his first ball, I beg your pardon. Getting his man there with that slow one. He just respectfully goes to it. Doesn't look to attack it much. Would really like to see just some more energy at the crease from Christian Brothers College, just to get themselves going a bit. Play a bit of positive cricket, I beg your pardon. 7.2 overs down. 2 wickets. And 32 runs on the board. It is worth the risk to get yourself going a bit, unless they plan on doing that maybe at the 10 over mark or after that. But if I'm I beg your pardon, if I'm St John's, more than happy to have them carry on in the manner that they are. Not too attacking. And that first bit of that from Munashe Chimusoro, who's been in from the very first ball. Just unfortunately on that occasion, I guess was the right idea, but just leant his backwards. Head had gone. And there we go. But again, it looks like quick single being taken there of Saxon Pedican to end the over. After 8 overs, a 34 for 2 is the current score. CBC will really look to be more attacking at this moment in time, because at this current rate, they tell you at the end of the 20 overs at this current rate will be about 80 odd runs, and they'll certainly be looking to earn themselves a bit more loot. Liam Jones to come back in for a second over. And that's a brilliant quick call. So these quick singles coming in now as the field's been spread at the end of that power play. They're looking to take a couple more quick singles. Not really attacking. Saxon Pedican really should have been backing up and could have, put that fielder under pressure, and that's when you can get those mistakes out of the fielding side. Like I did point out earlier, ladies and gentlemen, we've got games on 2 other fields taking place. So currently out on the main field, we have the host St George's College taking on Lomagandi. St George's currently in with the bat at the moment, moving at quite a decent rate, very nice, well, beyond decent according to this game. St George's currently 92 for 2 after 11 overs. And on the other field, we have Falcon College taking on Prince Edward after 16 overs. Falcon finding themselves in a bit of trouble, with their score currently lying at 70 runs for the loss of 7 wickets. So much work to do for Falcon College alongside Lomagandi to try restrict, while Lomagandi on field A to try restrict St George's College. And very well bowled by Liam Jones, conceding just 2 runs off of his over. So from St George's point of view, I beg your pardon, St John's point of view, really guys, just keep it to the same, keep it tight as it is. 36 runs off the first 9 overs, with Tawana Zimunga getting some decent bounce on that, and that's some top fielding at that backward point region. Was that somewhat like... And that is exactly what you want to see as a bowler. As much as you're putting in the hard work, if your fielders are getting right behind you, it gives you that extra boost. Slower ball after a first fast one, and that's just one bounce. A bit more attacking. Very well played there by Munashi Chimusoro, who's been in from the first over, so it's really good to see him get into some sort of stride. That was just 1 meter short of a 6. Will this now be some sort of momentum swing for Christian Brothers College to get themselves a bit more runs on the board? Sensible cricket, after getting or scoring a boundary, you really want to, just the next ball you respect him. Unless it's a bad ball. Good ball, or good return by Tawana Zimunga, earning that respect. However, Christian Brothers College could really use this opportunity. Just as I say that, really a bit more attacking, but geez. only 2 runs, brilliant running in between the wickets. Munashi Chimusoro will feel a bit hard done, I beg your pardon. Outfield seeming a bit thick, ball bouncing once and really taking all the momentum off of that. Letting that one slide through. One ball to go in this over. Taona Zimunga, can he keep them down? Again, that slow ball. And again, brilliant fielding in that backward point region. And there we go, CBC, a bit more energy out in the field. Big appeal, but Munashi Chimusoro making his ground. And that brings us, ladies and gentlemen, after 10 overs, Christian Brothers College 44 for the loss of 2 wickets. A big 10 overs to come for them. They'll certainly be looking to earn a few more runs.
So Jones in his 3rd over here, and CBC add another run to the total. A leg by there, extras. St John's all over CBC at the moment. Full pin, full toss, carved down to deep mid wicket. Another run to the total. Pettican and Chimusoro are looking good at the moment. They've steadied the ship somewhat. However, they are eating up a lot of dot balls. Jones quick through his over here. He's already bowled 4 balls in the blink of an eye, not letting the batsman settle. Slower through the air, driven through the covers, running hard, and comfortably back for the 2nd run there. So the scoreline ticks on nicely, 48 for 2. Pettican missing out on a freebie there. Running hard. Again, comfortably back for the 2nd. Leg buys, unfortunately. So it won't help Pettican at all. Those runs won't be added to his total. But that's the end of the 11th. It is 50 runs for the loss of 2 wickets. Jones to finish off his 4 overs. Liam Jones will be finishing up here his 4 overs. He's bowled nicely so far. Bit of a freebie for Pettikin to throw his arms through, but Chohan does well to cut that down to 1. Out on the sweeping boundary is his spin twin. Foster again through the air, firing it into the block hole. Chimsoro does well to get it out, but a valuable dot ball here for St. John's. Again firing it in, and paddle sweep, delicate, and 4 runs to the total. Amazing touch there shown by Chimsoro batsman. So could this be the over where the pedal gets pressed a little bit harder? Jones won't be too happy with that, so I would expect him to fire one in at the pads. Yeah. And there he goes. Fires it in. Chimsoro does well to block it out. There's Jones tossing it up a little bit more, and finding the inside half of the bat was Chimsoro, but another run to the total. Single out to deep mid wicket. 58 for 2, 12.5 overs. Jones has done well in his allotted 4. He hasn't picked up a wicket, but he hasn't gone for too many, and that's the key here. And Pettikin now adopting his batting partner's stance, tickling it around the corner, and adding a further 2 more runs to the total. So young Jones can't be too upset with those figures. 4 overs for 18 runs, 60 runs up on the board. It's 60 for 2, 7 to go. Chohan again from the city end tosses one up, and Chimsoro obliges by knocking it down to long on for 1. So Pettikin back on strike here. Full toss. Again, nudge down the ground for 1. It's much better batting now for CBC. They are scoring a little bit more freely. It is only singles at the moment, but at least they're keeping the scoreboard ticking over. Chimsoro bigging up his arms, freeing them, and 6 runs. He's mowed it down to deep mid wicket, and 6 more runs to the total. So you can see that Chimsoro and Pettikin have had a chat, and they're going to target this over. Their partnership's moving on quite nicely. They've brought up 59 runs together, and Chohan runs quite nicely there. A lot tighter is his lines, so dot ball, but this could be the over. Tossing it up wider, and Chimsoro virtually yorking himself. He comes out his crease, thunders it through the covers for 1, and that's the end. It is 69 rather, for the loss of 2. So change of bowler from the school end. Lovett replaces Jones. Right arm, medium pace. Chimsoro is set. He's been there from the start. 35 of 42. 6 overs to come. Hopefully, for the sake of his side, he can start teeing off. And he manages to put Lovett off his line, dummying the front foot down the pitch. Wide ball bowled. So it's not a great start from Lovett. Coming around the wicket now is the big seamer. Stumps. And Chimsoro obliges in the slot. Big 6 there from the bat of Chimsoro. The score moves on quite nicely to 76 for 2 with that big hit, and that takes Chimsoro into the 40s now. He's on 41. Love it again in the slot off the bat, and he's been put down by the keeper. Keeper Robertson sticking out his left mitt and couldn't quite take that catch. So handed a lifeline here is Chimsoro. Can he put them to the sword now? That's much better from Lovett. He's not bowling the length anymore. He's bowled quite nicely. And Chimsoro can't get his arms through. Shifting across the stumps and mowing it out to deep backward square leg for 1. So Chimsoro now has signalled his intent. He wants to start going for it. Pettican is also settled, 24 of 35. Can he also start freeing his arms? Much better ball there from Lovett. Full straight. Pettican obliges, gets back to ball, gets the single, puts on his partner Chimsoro back on strike.
Single ends the over. 118.
Coming down the wicket, giving himself some space, and good fielding there from Jones, cutting that 1 to 1, and that ends the 15th over. It is 79 for 2. Pettican and Chimsoro batting well here. They've put on 70 runs together. Steadied the ship. 2 early wickets for CBC. And they've got 5 more overs left. 8 wickets in the shed. They can have a bit of a swing now. They need to start scoring big overs here. That over from Lovett went for 10, so a little bit more of that is what is required for CBC. So Chowan being replaced by Zimunga. He's bowled 2 overs already for 11. Short. And Chimsoro rocks on the back foot and cracks him through the covers for a much needed boundary. He takes his score on to 47. And CBC go marching on. It is 83 for 2. And just what the doctor ordered, getting the over off to a good start. Boundary first up. A little bit too short there from Zimunga and punished. And that's further up. He's had a big swing at that and found a thick outside edge. And unfortunately for the opening bat, he's fallen 3 runs short of his 50. But a well-played innings there, caught by keeper Andrew Robertson. And the change of bowler has definitely helped with getting that wicket and that breakthrough. But Chimsoro did signal. So that brings Chimedza on strike. New batsman here, facing Zimunga. He's not short of pace as this young lad. And you can see that Chimedza's probably been given the task by the coach to have a swing. He's taken guard on leg stump, so potentially will get that left leg out the way. Comes down the wicket early, squeezes it through, and only just the 1 run there, but he's off the mark. Zimunga steaming in again, back of length, drive through the gap there. Peterkin running hard, and 2 runs there. So good running there from the 2 batsmen of CBC. 86 for 3 at the moment. And Peterkin in the slot, over the covers. Good fielding there on the boundary from St. John's, so saving 2 runs there. Peterkin now freeing his arms a little bit. Zimunga just guilty of bowling a little bit too full at the moment. That wicket he got of Chimsoro, he bowled back of the length, beautiful line and length there. He's just bowling a bit too full at the moment, yeah. Again, right in the slot. And Peterkin digs it out. So good end of the over there, but successful over for CBC. Went for 8-9 runs on that over. So 88 for 3. 16 overs bowled. And there's 4 to come. CBC potentially want to try and get the score up above 110. 120 is defendable, but they just got to bowl well if they're going to defend a total. That's that quote unquote low. But Lovett is continuing again here. He's decided to come over the wicket. Correction. It's young Grant coming back into the attack. Opening bowler. He's bowled well so far. In the slot. And Chimedza obliging by getting a single out to deep mid wicket. And it gets the in batsman Peterkin on strike. 29 off 39. He did well with Chimsoro to build the team to this point. Him over the line. Grant in the block hole. So dot ball there. Precious at this stage of the game, all those dot balls. It's good bowling from St. John's College. Full toss, low toss. Peterkin, all he can do is squeeze it out to long on for a single. Chimedza coming down the wicket early. Grant seeing it and firing in the slot, and he manages to squeeze it out to third man for 1. So clever bowling from young Grant. So Grant steaming in again from the school end. Pettican swing. Not getting bat to ball there, so leg byes, but still another run to the cause. Takes the score to 92 for 3. 16.5 overs bowled. Grant hasn't had a bad outing here today. Full toss, swung around the corner. Well fielded on the boundary there. Just saving his team there, 3 runs. And Chimedza, word go, has definitely signalled his intention. He's not here for a short time. He's here for a good time. Takes the scoreline 93 for 3 after 17. Zimunga still bowling. Chimedza not scared to use his feet. He comes down the wicket, traps it, and he manages to steal a cheeky single. Pettican's now set. He's on 30 runs. Can he start freeing those arms? Zimunga, short of length. He goes for it, up high in the air. Lands in no man, so lucky there for Saxon Pettican. He's with cricketing guards on his side at the moment. Skied it to no one, so single again. Back of a length, Chimedza. He middles it, but good fielding in the covers there by St. John's College. Definitely saving a few runs there for his side. Frustrated as Chimedza now. He just can't quite find the gap. Zimunga to Pettican. There he goes, in the slot. Picked up off his legs. What a shot there from Saxon Pettican. He gets a lollipop on his legs and he obliges. Punishes him over the boundary. Great shot there from the young man. And that brings the 100 up. 102 for 3. It's taken him 17.4 overs to get there. 17.4 rather. But at least they got up to the triple digits now. Now Pettican, he's looking solid. 37 runs. Again, short of a length. Drilled down the ground. Chimedza running hard and putting the pressure on the fielders there. So 2 extra runs to the total. It's good cricket here from the boys in yellow. From down south past the Shangani. Saxon Pettican takes his total to 39. Zimunga to finish up the over. Pitches it up. Pettican a little bit late on that. And skies a catch. And Vishal Chauhan obliges by pocketing that catch. And CBC are now 104 for 3. So with the dismissal of Pettican for a well-deserved 39, Anthony Glowitsky replaces him. He's the change of bowler again. Lovett has replaced Grant. He was taken for 10 in his first over. Chimsoro enjoyed his line and length. Chimedza on strike now. And punished by Chimedza. Short, slow, and rocking on the back foot goes Chimedza and punishes him into the deep mid-wicket boundary for 4. 108 for 4. Love it, just needs to find his line and length here. Again, short. Chimedza swats it. And Glowitsky sauntering back. Could have got the single there, and nothing. There's a dot ball after all that comedy of errors. Dot ball. Love it. In the right areas now. Big swing and a miss from Chimedza. But however, Chimedza has not gone a-wandering. He's come swinging from ball 1. Slower ball, down the wicket. Well read by Lovett. Intelligent cricket there from the bowler. Saw him coming early, so fired it wide and slow, and Chimedza just giving himself too much room there. So another dot ball. There's 2 more balls left in this over. Yorker, and unfortunately the single has been stolen there. So Glowitsky now to face his first ball. Score is 109 for 4. There is 7 balls left in this innings. They haven't discussed after the start. They got CBC. They've put a total on the board at least. Bludgeoned down to Jones for 1. And Glowitsky steals the strike back for the last over. So at the end of the 19th, it is 110 for 4. So Dan Erasmus has been tasked with the last over. He comes charging in from the city end. Squeezed away down to third man for a single. I think Glowitsky's still half asleep. He's not running as hard as what he could be. But nonetheless, the dangerous Chimedza's on strike. It's 111 for 4. Nelson up. Will this bring about a wicket for St. John's College? Short, back of length, just over the infield. And Chimedza lives to fight another day. It's 112 for 4. There's 4 more balls left in this innings. Erasmus, top of his mark. Glowitsky through mid-wicket. Well saved there. So certainly saved 1 run. I don't think it would have gone to the boundary. It is quite well protected out there. St. John's have set a very biased leg side field, so Erasmus won't want to give him any width on the offside yet. Chimedza back on strike. 113 for 4. 3 balls to go. Erasmus. Short. Carved. Doesn't get through the gap. But still saves a few runs there for his side in the covers. Erasmus lucky to get away with that. Nearly threaded through the eye of the needle, did Chimedza. Erasmus to Glowitsky. Down on the ground, and Chimedza running well. So 2 more runs to the total. Takes the score to 116 for 4. Last ball of the innings. Glowitsky on strike. I don't think Chimedza would be too upset with his efforts at the moment. He hasn't died wondering. Glowitsky, two-face Erasmus. Back of the length. Off the pads. And a single to end the over there and end the innings. So CBC, after a awful start, have got themselves to a respectable 117 for the loss of 4 on their 20 overs. So St. John's need 118 to win this game. And Chimsoro, the star of that batting performance, 47 of 49. Pitakin, the captain and the keeper, out for without troubling the scorers. So did Patel. 39 by Pitakin, his brother. Then Chimedza finishing on 13 not out and Glowitsky 5 not out. So if it wasn't for Chimsoro and Pitakin, that could have been a lot lower total. So at the end of the 20 overs there, 117 for 4. We look at the bowlers. 4 overs, none for 20. Erasmus, 4 overs, 1 for 15. Good lot there. Economy of 3.75. Jones, 4 for 18. 4 overs, 18, no wickets. And Zimunga, the pick of the bowlers there, picking up 2 wickets in his 4 overs, but he did go for a bit of stick, 31. And Chowan and Lovett with 2 overs apiece there, 11 and 16 respectively. So don't go too far, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back for the second innings soon.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's another very warm welcome to you all to the Smashing Cricket St George's T20 tournament. Current game we've got on at the moment is Christian Brothers College taking on St John's College. College having gone into bat 117 for 4 is all they could manage in their allotted 20 overs. And now it will be St John's College turn with the Willow. Going to be interesting to see what how they get about this chase they've got on. Just guarded down by Connor Grant. 12 a single off the first ball. Nice way to get off the mark. I guess that will be St John's idealistic way of getting around in this total. You know, just keep the scoreboard ticking. It's something Christian Brothers College did not do early on in the inning, managing to, you know, earn themselves a bit more on the back end of that first and off that inning. And now the man on strike will be Andrew Robinson with Dylan Pettikin with the ball. Just letting that one slide is Andrew Robinson. Challenging Andrew Robinson is Dylan Pettikin. I'll put it there. You can hit it, but best believe I've got men in place if you miss hit that. Just some sighters for the St John's College batsman at this moment in time. Just happy, you know, to see out the opener, get your eye in, and start working your way around that total that has been set by Christian Brothers College. Very quick single stolen there by the St John's College batsman. Some really good backing up by Connor Grant. But sharp in that circle are CBC, as they know you let anything through that cover region. Certain 4 runs. Oof. Played it, missed it. Very good bounce with 2 balls to go in that over. Dylan Pettikin doing very well for his side. And ladies and gentlemen, just for out of general interest with what's going on around, Falcon College are taking on Prince Edward. Falcon College managing only 90 runs in their in their inning. They lost 90. They lost 10 wickets on their way to that 90 runs, and Prince Edward are currently, after 8 overs, 49 for 2, so well on their way to chase that total by Falcon. And then on the other field, in the main field, we had St George's set up 156 for the loss of 7 wickets. Lomagandi will be into bat soon. That's a beautiful shot. Just playing its line. Beautiful drive. 1 bounce over. To cap a brilliant first over for St John's College. That's just the exact way they'd have wanted to get on with their business. Dylan Pettikin, not a bad over at all. 6 runs from it. A lot better than the first over in the first inning. Be interesting to see what their new man does with ball here. Bradley Wenzel to take over the duties on the other end. Working really hard are St John's in between the wickets. Current run rate, I beg your pardon. Current run rate for St John's will be 5.85 runs and over. I'll tell you what, they're well underway, well on their way to achieve that. 6 coming from the first over, and 1 already in the second. So they'll want to bring that run rate down, allow themselves to express themselves a bit more, build up a partnership and some sort of form for the rest of the tournament. However, I tell you what, Christian Brothers College will have other ideas. Connor Grant just guiding that one past the covers. He found the gap. Moving well above the current run rate. Current run rate would, like I did point out, was 5.85, and they're currently 11 runs to the good with 4 balls to go in this over. Moving at a brilliant pace. Ooh. There we go. Bradley Saul showing us what he can do. Getting now to slide through to the keeper. Connor Grant did try at that one, but Dylan Wenzel won that little battle mentally. I'm not so sure who will have the upper hand here. Some brilliant bounce and pace. Dylan Wenzel really coming alive on the back end of this over. No, just that bit more aggression will help his side. And a slow one from Dylan Wenzel, just as was used in the first inning. Very, very vital piece of anyone's over or spell. St John's used that one very perfectly, and here we see Dylan Wenzel pretty much using the same tactic, ball 3 or 4 whizzing past his head, and then give him the slower one to fox him. And that's a beautiful cut shot, played right through the gap again. Top cricketer from these openers, Andrew Robinson, for his first boundary of the inning, and to end the over as well. St John's College 16 for no loss after 2 overs, well above the current run rate. Required run rate now falls to 5.67, and the current rate, so these guys are scoring at about 8 runs and over. They'll want to carry on with this. And now this is when the CBC captain really has to, pull their side together, get them talking, get that energy going, because they don't have too much of a big total to defend. But tell you what, we've seen crazier things in cricket. In cricket, 1 wicket will just really bring a change of momentum. Played over the covers, and that's another beautiful drive, finding the gaps very easily. And unfortunately for CBC, they just cannot plant any men there, as the current power play only allows for 2 outside the circle. Should probably move one of those men, because they seem to be conceding there. And as I say that, they've done just that and have had to pull one in. And a slow one, just to slow it down, but that gap they have created allows for the single. Very smart cricket from St John's here. Connor Grant, Andrew Robinson moving the field and then just plugging the ball into that gap that was created. And that way you're just going to keep your opposition thinking. Might have to outthink themselves. Another slower one, but that's a wide ball. Properly lining that one up was Andrew Robinson, but just not within reach. Wouldn't mind seeing that one go. Dylan Pettikin. And that's another cracking shot, but unfortunately not getting as much on it as he'd have liked. Trying to steal a 2. And that's a brilliant fielding to have gotten rid of him. And that's the first wicket for Christian Brothers College. That attacking play by St. John's has unfortunately been the death of him on this occasion. Trying to steal a 2. And unfortunately that's Ian Robinson. And he falls for just 6 runs. But tell you what, he's helped the side get off to a brilliant start. And this is exactly what Christian Brothers College needed. Unfortunately for him, just watching the ball a lot more than he should have tried to run it hard. But brilliant keeping work there. Well short of his ground. Vanch Patel receiving a nice turn from the outfield. Plugs that one in. Easy take. And that brings in Mark Johnson for St. John's. Connor Grant on strike. Dylan Pettikin looking to cap on off his over rather with another scalp, but Mark Johnson more than happy to see that one go out. About the required rate, so he's in no rush at all. Get himself into the game. A couple of sighters. But tell you what, Pettikin has other ideas. That's a beautiful Yorker. Just dealt it beautifully, but brilliant running again from St. John's. This has been a hallmark of their innings so far. You know, you're just going to keep putting pressure and piling that pressure on all the fielding side when you just keep that scoreboard ticking. And that's exactly what they've managed to have done up until this point. I'll tell you what, if they're managing to sneak in all of these quick little singles inside the power play when you've got, 8 men inside the circle, what more for it later on. Another slow ball and managing to steal a quick single again to cap off the over. And that man again a testing start there by Dylan Wenzel. Connor Grant on strike, 16 from 11, 3 boundaries. Tell you what, he's definitely got his eye in. And what a match we've got here, perfect match, contest. Wenzel versus Grant. Wenzel clearly having been the pick of the bowlers for CBC up to now. And unfortunately, a wicketkeeper not being able to deal with that one. Tried to get a leg glance, Connor Grant, and saw the wicketkeeper as well. And that will be 4 runs to St. John's tally. sliding that one. So CBC have really figured this out very early on in the game to remove as much pace as you can off the ball and really make these St John's batsmen work for whatever runs they're going to earn. CBC will really want a better approach inside that circle because St John's have really made light work of earning those quick singles. The bowling's been amazing from Dylan Wenzel, just slowing it down. Very strong, good cricketing brain you've got on them quite clearly. Realising that pace is not the way to go on about this one, but rather just slow it down, make them work for it. Can't imagine to see what the approach will be from St John's once they don't have that many packed in, and unfortunately our man has gone down after that fielding effort. Able to get up as our man Bradley Wenzel with 2 balls to bowl in this over. Current scoreline 31 for the loss of 1 wicket after 3.4 overs. Just over 10 runs and over. And just, you really got to give all credit to the St John's batsmen. Their intent is quite clear, you know, just push it around, nudge it around. To cap off his over, but that's just really plugs his bat onto that. Lets it slide to end the over for Bradley Wenzel after having gone down. That's a good end hit for him. St John's 33 for 1 after 4. Run rate keeps falling. Currently now at 5.31, and the rate they're going at is 8.25. So well on their way are St John's College. Wickets have to be a thing for Christian Brothers College. Using that slow ball quite often. However, is it really challenging for the batsman? You've got to really question that Over change. Now Saxon Pedersen comes into ball. A new challenge for the St John's batsman. Wonder how he'll get on about his over. And like we said, all game, or all inning up to now, just brilliant running in between the wickets from St John's. Because it doesn't feel like they're scoring too many, but tell you what, at the end of the over, when you amass all of those little singles that they would have taken, it adds up to quite a bit. And again, straight to the fielder. Has a shy at it, but unfortunately, a brilliant throw, well backed up. But the pressure these batters are putting on the fielding side. Such lively cricket. CBC will have to find a way to, plug all of these little holes or gaps that these singles keep getting taken out of. Very wise call, going to what? Backward point region. Straight to the man, and they call a loud no call. Rather comes in from Matt Johnson. Connor Grant on the other end. It's more than happy or keen to run. Oh. Just a shy at that fielder there. Falling short of him. And that's that man again, Dylan Wenzel out in the field. Fielding in the covers. Had that gone through him, it was only the man at sweeper who he'd have had lots of work to get around in order to stop that boundary, but straight down the ground. And another single stolen. Very good work from St John's here. Tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, to any of the other teams that would have been around and watching them, and are going to play them, I beg your pardon, later on. You've got to plug all of those little gaps and holes, as they're taking so many quick singles. It's just the intent that's so amazing to see. Slows it down. Very smart thinking there from Saxon to end us over. St John's 37 for 1 after 5 overs. Required rate of 7. I beg your pardon, required rate of 5. And they're currently scoring at 7 and over. So 2 runs above their current rate. And it's just those singles. And another change on the opposite end as well. Michael Chimedza to come in for his first. And that's a beautiful cut shot played right across that man at point's face. And unfortunately all he has to do is go fetch it, but wow, what a beautiful shot there played by Connor Grant. just using the pace really off of that ball. Scores from around the grounds. Falcon all out for 80, I beg your pardon, 90, and currently after 14 overs Prince Edward are 77 for 5. And that's a beautiful drive played out here. Connor Grant to move his tally to 29 runs. Getting into stride as Michael Chimed's up. Doing his own bit of cleaning up rather is Michael Chimedza. St John's requiring a further 71 runs from their allotted 14 overs remaining, or 14.2 overs remaining in this inning. The big shy by Matt Johnson, but unfortunately not being able to get leather onto the willow. Michael Chimedza would have done an incredible job if he caps this one off with the dot ball to just conceded 5 runs off his over. That's under the required rate. Good strike rotation by St John's to end the over. That's a single by Connor Grant, I beg your pardon, to move his score to 29 runs. St John's now 43 runs for the loss of 1 wicket after 6 overs. And that is Saxon Pelican to come back for his second over. Current partnership of 20 runs between these two. Building quite nicely are Grant and Johnson. Johnson on strike, I beg your pardon. More quick singles are the order of the day for St John's, I beg your pardon. Really niggling away total. Just planting it in the gaps, have the man on the non-striker's end. And that's quite very brilliantly stopped in the cover there. Brilliant effort. Bit of a slow one. Is that a chance? No, it's straight just down the ground, and that's a brilliant shot for Johnson, from Johnson rather. St John's really doing well over here. To move their tally to 48 runs for the loss of 1 wicket. Work to do for Christian Brothers College up. beautifully dealt with by Pettican. Just keep switching it up really in between the balls. You get a fast one, then a slow one, and the batsman never really know what to expect. Just played down the ground, opens the face of the bat for that, an easy single for St John's. With one ball remaining in this over. Connor Grant, 33 runs to the good for him. It's been a good day out so far. Will he be there at the end to see it start out? Again opens the face with his bat. Two's called, and very well run from these two. St John's College end this over 52 runs for the loss of one wicket. Partnership moves on to 29 runs. And again they've brought that required rate down to just 5 runs. Changes will have to be made by the CBC or the way they conduct themselves in the field. And Munashe Chimeds up. Chimsoro, I beg your pardon. Will come in for Christian Brothers College, and that looks to be a change in tactics. Bring on a spinner. Not letting that one bounce, and gets a good chunk of it. The outfield is quite thick, so not being able to earn as much cheats as he should have off that one. But tell you what, Chimsoro will not be too upset with that, as that could have been dealt with a lot worse than was. Chance, oh, unfortunately drops it. It wasn't the easiest of chances, unfortunately. Connor Grant lives to fight another day. Plugging that one straight into the surface. Gets a bit more pace on that one as well. Just a single straight to the fielder is Mark Johnson. And that's a beautiful wicket taken. Munashe Chimsoro gets rid of Mark Johnson, who seemed to be on the up. And that brings in another wicket, exactly what Christian Brothers College needed. Just before the power play, just get a new man in. So CBC, having taken a second wicket, Munashe Chimsoro, the change in bowling has really brought within the dividends for them. Exactly what they would like, a new man in. New man in is Daniel Erasmus. He will be on strike with Munashe Chimsoro having 2 balls to go in the over. Can really play with his mind, see where he's at, exploit the new man in. Wonder how he'll set on about his business over here. Very well done from Chimsoro. A very calm head from Erasmus. Just see him out. I guess the message would have been the same as he left that St John's dugout. Just earn those singles, get your iron, and at the end of 8 overs, St John's are 55 for 2, required rate of 5. St John's College needs 63 runs to win off 70 deliveries with 8 wickets in hand. So very well within reach for them. Christian Brothers College having it all to do, taking the wicket, which is very good for them, but they just need to keep up with the same momentum. A new man in on both occasions. Dan Erasmus just plugging away at the single, and Dylan Sudan for Christian Brothers College. Some brilliant turn from Dylan Sudan, and Connor Grant just getting an edge off of that one. Luckily for him, it was quite thick and didn't go to the keeper, and managing to steal a quick single off of that one. That will bring lots of confidence to Dylan Sudan's over. Respecting the good balls, and rightfully so. He's not too quick through the air, I beg your pardon, but tell you what, looks like he has lots of turn on that ball. And this is exactly what Christian Brothers College needed, just to, put the St John's batters under a bit of pump. Again, plugging off of that one. Some brilliant strike rotation. I mean, Daniel Rassus has only been in, well, not too long, but he's already faced 5 balls. And that brings an end to the 8th over. 9th. 58 for 2. Needing 60 runs off 66, almost a runner ball, but plenty of wickets in hand. And tell you what, the St John's side bat quite deep rather. But just some more bowling like we just did see. And again, it's that man Munashe Chimusoro who did take the scalp in the previous over. He looks to carry on, only conceding 3 runs off of that over. That's exactly what they will need, just to build that score pressure on the other end, get the wickets, put a chokehold on the runs. But as I say that, that's one brilliantly played cut shot, running away from the fielder, and for the bounce, that sort of top spin that everyone always hates, gets Daniel Rasmus his 4 to put the bowler straight up under pressure early on in the over. Very sensible cricket. I'll just rotate the strike after doing that. Brilliant cricket here by St John's. Plugging out into the ground, but not dealing with it adequately. Quite frustrated with himself for that. plays down up to, and that's 2 runs stolen again in the field. Not too much he could have done about it, though. It was quite out and it was quite deep in the outfield. So St. John's just really knowing where to put the ball and win. Just 2 more balls to go till the end of the power play. And again, will he be lucky? Will that get to the boundary? Work there, but unfortunately, all that work goes in vain. As Connor Grant gets a boundary for St. John's at the end of the power play. With a ball to go, can they exploit all of that space on in the outfield? And that's some brilliant fielding by Christian Brothers College. And after 10 overs, St. George's lie at 70 runs for the loss of 2 wickets. So at the halfway stage, St. John's College require 48 runs off 60 balls, 8 wickets in hand. Dylan Sudan back for a second over. Just muscle down the ground to earn him a single. And that brings the man Connor Grant on strike, 45 runs. Will he get there in style? Certainly not very much patient. Stop while they're at the point region. Very well balled by Dylan Sudan. Saw his man coming down the ground. Tell you what, I'm going to give it to you wide and not able to deal with that one adequately. Just some more singles. To end the over.
So St. John's 74 for 2, chasing a target of 118 to win. Chimsoro bowling from the city end, and Erasmus is at the crease with Grant. And using the crease quite nicely, turns it around the corner, and ball wins the race there. So 4 runs down to fine leg for St. John's College. Daniel Erasmus moves on to again, Erasmus tickling it around the corner for 1. brings Grant on strike and drills it down the claw 1. So takes the score 79, 80 for 2 rather, off 11.5. Erasmus on strike now, facing Chimsoro, drills it. Good stop in the covers. Unfortunately, they still get through for the single to St. John's College. So that takes the total 80 to 81. Chimsoro to Grant, short, wide, and Grant missing out there. He's disappointed. He swung hard at that and then just couldn't put bat to ball. He's batting well, is the opener for St. John's. He's on 47 at the moment. Chimsoro turned around the corner for 1. Takes his personal tally to 48 with that single. And that's the end of the 12th over. The scoreline reads 82 for 2. And they require a further 36 runs to St. John's College. They've got 8 wickets in hand. They're currently going at just above 6. And the required run rate from here is 4.5. So they're cruising at the moment, are they? Sardan has taken the attack from the school end. It's 2 runs there. Well run from the 2 batsmen of St. John's, Erasmus and Grant. And Erasmus has brought up his 50. Grant, has brought up his 50 with that 2. He comes down the track. He hits a catch down to deep mid-wicket and he shells it on the boundary, does the man from CBC. So 4 more runs to Grant, leading a charmed life now. He's got a license now to get going because he's done all the hard yards. He's been there for a long time. So 4 more to the total. So Dan tossing it up slow through the air. Single down the ground to Grant. He's on 55 at the moment, is the young man from St. John's. It's 89 for 2 of 12.5. Erasmus on strike, deep in his crease. Down the ground for 1. Grant using his crease there. Unfortunately, couldn't get it away for any runs. Sardan, last ball of the over. Only blemish was that 4 with that drop catch on the boundary. That's not his fault. Should have picked up the wicket there. And single to end the over. At the end of the 13th over, it's 91 for 2. So change of bowler from the city end. Steyn into the attack, Justin Steyn. It is 91 for 2 after 13. And Steyn's been introduced to the attack. Left armour. Short, wide, Grant. Seeing it like a beach ball now. Puts it through the covers with ease. Another single to the total. Cruising at the moment are St. John's. 26 runs required. Brings Erasmus on strike. Down the leg side. And umpire obliges. Signals that are wide. Their partnership currently on 39, these two, and looking to guide their team to an easy victory here. Slow ball from Steyn on the legs, whipped away by Erasmus. Well chased down there. Cuts it down to a 2. So Erasmus takes his total on to 19.
73 for 4, Namakati College, 15 overs.
Steyn once more. Full. Erasmus down the ground. Solid. And fumble on the boundary there allows them to come back for 2. So Erasmus moves his total on to 21, and St. John's move comfortably on to 97 for 2, 13 and a half gone. It's looking easy at the moment. Further 21 runs required. Erasmus again drills it straight back at Steyn. He does well to get a hand on that. It would have been an unbelievable catch in his follow through. But chance is still a chance. So Erasmus given an extra life. Soda was his partner a couple of overs ago, given a life. 98 for 2. Steyn trying to stem the flow of runs here. He's beaten the outside edge, has Steyn. Grant just showing that he is a little bit vulnerable on a good length, so Steyn going to try and replicate that. Grant carves it away over backward point. A lot of work to be done. He's not going to get there, and that's 100 up for St. John's. With that boundary, 100 is up. It is 102 for 2 after 14, and Grant moves on to 61. Their partnership 48 at the moment. They're making light work of this run chase, are St. John's, especially Erasmus and Grant at the moment. Grant striking at a strike rate of 141, and Erasmus not too sluggish either, 122. So not too much left here in this run chase. 16 runs off 36 balls, and there has been a change of bowling at this school. Looks like Saudan's been replaced. By Dylan Pettican. Full wide, and Erasmus can't do anything about that, so dot ball. Erasmus is on strike. Pettican steaming in from the school end. In the slot. And Erasmus dispatches that with ease. Big six over long on, wide mid wicket. And it moves the total on to 108 for 2, and that's the 50 partnership up for these two. They put 54 runs on together, and they don't look like anything's going to stop them. Further 10 more required of 34 balls. Pettican charging in once again on the pads, and slower ball. Erasmus can't get back to ball there, so good response there from that 6. Another dot to Pettican. Not enough dot balls in their bowling efforts. That's where they've faltered, have CBC. Slow ball again, in the slot again. And Erasmus obliges. He puts it over the long on boundary for yet another 6. Second one of this over. And there's only 4 runs left in this run chase. Partnership 60. Erasmus has moved swiftly on to 34. 2 lusty blows. Striking at 154 now is young Erasmus. This could be over off this ball. Just slowing it down a little bit is Pettican. Changing his field up. Bringing deep square up into the ring. Moving his fine leg around to short third man and putting my man out on the cover boundary. So he bowls to the field there, but unfortunately that was a wide, so he'll have to bowl that one more time. 3 runs left to get to the target of 118. St. John's looking in the pound seats here. Pettican charging in again. Erasmus in the slot, straight down the throat of long off. And finally Pettican gets his man. It was a great catch there at long off, steadied himself nicely. Justin Steyn obliging. But a good innings there from young Erasmus. And in walks Sapo to the crease. But in the meantime they did cross, so Grant will be on strike to face the last ball of this over. 15 for 3. And St. John's need a further 3 runs just to put the final nail in the coffin here. Pettican full wide, and unfortunately he's been wided for that, so you'll have to bowl that one again. 2 more runs. Slow ball outside of stump. Hit down the ground. Grant looking for the 2. Unfortunately, he didn't run that first one hard. So that ends the over. A woeful one for Pettican. He took some stick in that over. And that brings the scores level. It is tied here. 117 for 3 at the end of the So unfortunately Justin Steyn has to finish up here. Steam the city end. They won it quite comfortably here by 7 wickets. Robertson run out for 7, Johnson for 9, and then Erasmus and Grant came together, put on quite a big partnership. 34 of 23 was Erasmus, and Sapo not facing a ball. He is not out on 0. Bowling figures here. Pettican went for some tap, 1 for 30 in his 3. Wenzel went for 18 in his 2 overs. Saxon Pettican 2 overs for 12, not bad. And Chimedza just the 1 over for 6. Chimsoro 3 overs, 1 for 23. Saudan, probably the pick of the bowlers, 3 overs for 16 runs. And Justin Sain just finishing off there, 1 over, and he went for 12. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That brings an end to this game. 118 for 3. Don't go anywhere. We will be bringing you live action from the next game here at St. George's.